let's get this bread. Actually, nobody says that anymore. But what people still do eat are fish sandwiches, and we are going to make one today. First, we are going to need some water. Well, fish live in water. They live in salt water, which I've added salt to this water, but we need salt water for this fish sandwich, and you'll see why. It's because I am creating a brine. So once that salt is all blended with the water, you're going to go ahead and add your fish. I have this beautiful halibut. Shout out to my boy Tomas for these wonderful fillets. Now I'm going to get a scale out because I need to weigh out some flour. So I'm going to take another bowl and I'm going to start loading it up with some flour. I'm actually using cake flour here, and you might be wondering, why cake flour? You're not making cakes unless you're making some kind of weird fish cake, which I guarantee you I am not, although might be a nice subject for another video. But cake flour actually lends itself a nice delicate crunch later on after we fry. And here I'm going to add a few grams of salt because salt is flavor and thus salt. And I'm also going to add in a few grams of baking soda. As you know, baking soda is a leavening agent, aka it gives things that you use when cooking with it to give a rise. I know that didn't come out right, but I guarantee you it's going to give this fish sandwich, or at least these fish fillets, an incredible crunch and size. And now I'm gonna mix that all up with my fingers here, get that all nicely incorporated, all nicely combined. Set that aside for a bit. And now for our wet ingredients. I'm actually going to start out with a bit of mezcal. And really, you can go with any clear spirit or any liquid spirit as far as I can tell. But I have mezcal, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm gonna go ahead, get my bowl again, and I'm gonna crack open a beer because a fish sandwich is even better when that fish fillet is beer battered. So I'm gonna add my beer in slowly so it doesn't get flour all over the place. Here I'm just using a Filipino calamansi lager. You can really use any beer that you like. Gonna pour that in again slowly. I'm not gonna go in with the whole can because I don't want this to be too thin. So I guess that's a little beer for me later. Anyhow, go ahead and add in the mezcal, tongue twister, and start mixing that. And mix that carefully. Again, you're not trying to create a mess here. You don't want your batter to spill all over the place. Don't need that scale anymore. And I'm gonna continue mixing. Now, if you're wondering if I have gotten batter all over the place by mixing way too zealously, then yes, you are correct. I have made quite the mess, or messes. So start slow. Just keep on mixing. And then once it's a little bit more incorporated, you can go faster with your mixes. Mix, mix, mix. Now I'm going the other direction because I can. Okay, that is looking nicely incorporated. So let me set that aside. Let me clean my mess too. It did say that I have created many messes and today is no exception. So don't be a messy boy like me. Now I'm going to take another tin and I'm going to load that up with some more of our cake flour. And I'm not being precise with the measurements here. I'm just trying to load up that tin as fully as possible. Right. Shake that around a bit. The bottom is nicely covered, so that's good. We don't need a whole bunch of flour here. Next, I'm going to add in salt because, again, salt is flavor. Adding in some pepper as well. Gonna mix that all together with my fingies. Yes, get it nicely incorporated. Make sure there's pepper and salt all throughout because this is actually going to serve as the coating for our fish, not the batter, but a coating so that the batter can adhere to our fish fillets in the most optimal way possible. Let's just say that. All right, so once we got that all nicely, evenly distributed, here I'm just patting it down for no particular reason other than it looks sort of nice. I'm gonna go ahead and place my fillets into that flour seasoning mixture. Going to make sure that our fillets have a nice even coating. We're not trying to get a whole bunch of flour on here. We're not coating up some fried chicken to fry. And that is another video that you can check out. I'm going to link that somewhere on the screen. Check that out if you have the time. But let's continue with our fish. Once we got things looking all nicely and evenly coated, just sort of doing a little bit of quality assurance there, slide that aside. And I'm going to go ahead and grab our batter because now we need to batter these fish up. Not batter as in beat, but coat it in batter. So I'm going to go ahead and evenly dip it, get it all nicely coated, just let it hang out there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the next fillet. That's looking nice. And I'm going to pop in our last fillet into that batter bath. Shaking off some of the flour there. You don't want too much excess flour. All right. So those are going to take a bit of a bath in that flour for a while. It's also going to hydrate a bit of that flour coating on the underside. And while that hangs out, I'm going to heat up my stove to about medium high. I'm using a wok. You can use any high-sided pan. Just testing out the oil to see if it's ready to fry. It looks like it is. So now I'm going to go in with my fish. Don't overcrowd this pan either. About 2 for now is good in this pan. And I'm going to let that fry for a couple of minutes on each side. Since I'm not deep frying, I'm also going to use a ladle-ish spoon to sort of ladle that hot oil on the top, just to make sure that we have an even golden brown as it cooks. You don't need to do this, but I like to do it. After a couple of minutes, go ahead and flip that fillet over. It should look nice and deeply golden brown on the sides, or the other sides. Should look a little something like that once it's done frying. That is nice. Go ahead and fry however many fillets you have left. And it should look nice and golden brown like that. I'm just doing a little scratch and tap test because I like to do that, not necessary. Now, a fish sandwich would be nice with a little bit of tartar sauce. So I'm going in with some mayo. Love mayo. You've seen my video about mayo. To make your own homemade mayo, check out this video. But let's go ahead and get a few teaspoons of that mayo into this tiny little bowl. Such a cute little bowl. Love it. You might get on your fingers. You might lick it off camera. Hey, that's up to you. And now let's take some relish. Get a nice relishy tartar sauce going and some dill. If you have fresh dill, even better. I just happen to have a lot of dry dill, so I'm going with that. And I'm also going to go in with a squeeze of lemon juice. I'm just using half a lemon here. If you want to use a whole lemon, hey, that's going to make your sauce pretty tart, and also it's going to thin it way too much. I wouldn't do it, but hey, if that's your thing, then go for it. Half a lemon it is for me. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and stir that all the way until it is nicely combined, like that. That is ready for some fish sandwich action. So now I'm gonna slide that to the side, grab a bun, which I have conveniently toasted, and I am going to place some of that tartar sauce on that bun. I like a lot of tartar sauce, so I'm going to place quite a bit of tartar sauce. How much do I like tartar sauce? Well, stay tuned. All right, so once you've got your desired amount of tartar sauce on the bun, go ahead and grab one of your fillets and top that tartar sauce, and you are pretty much ready to eat. top it with the other bun, or the other half of the bun, and admire it for a moment. Again, I said I love tartar sauce, so I'm adding more tartar sauce for that first bite. Now it's ready. Let's check it out. Yo, going for one more bite. One more again. This is crispy. It's perfectly flaky, but not too flaky where the fish is completely falling apart. That's where that salt brine helps out. Oh, it's nice and crispity crunchity due to that crust where we added beer and we added a little bit of that mezcal for that special touch. This is a special fish sandwich. But what are some of your favorite fish recipes? Let me know in the comments down below. But until next time, YFP out.